Do you think English is one of the easiest languages to learn? As far as I'm aware, I'm inclined to believe it. I'm inclined to believe that English is a near perfect language, or at least a simple yet highly functional language. However, I'm willing to admit that this language is riddled with many flaws that hold it back from being, what I perceive, the most efficient and consistent language to date. Hello, everyone. On this channel, I discuss and break down many facets of society, including culture, government, entertainment, and reasoning. In this video, I will attempt to tackle and to solve for all the glaring problems, one category at a time. And yes, these problems can be grouped. One thing to note is that we categorize words under homonyms, heteronyms, and synonyms, of which cover a combination of two of three of the following: difference of spelling, pronunciation, and definition. Only as a byproduct of the established rules result in many words being pronounced non-phonetically. Phonetics, being the pronunciation and spelling of a word correlating to or mirroring one another, or even writing out how a letter sounds. My intention for the future of this channel is to submit my own subtitles mirroring the changes that I propose, along with subtitles reflecting the current structure for you to choose between. Without further ado, let's get started. There are three useless letters in the English alphabet that should be removed. Of three, the first letter that should be removed is the letter C. To explain why, we'll refer to the words cat and center as examples. What you may notice is that this letter only uses sounds associated to the letters K and S. Given that's the case, this letter then becomes useless. Again, given K can replace the C in cat, and S can replace the C in center. Although we do have a word like chew, in which the sound of the first syllable is taught in association to the pairing of C and H. This would be considered a combination effect. More about that later. In this instance, you could just swap C with K, applying the same sound to the new combination. The second useless letter is Q. For this letter, we will refer to the words queen and antique. When you write it how it sounds, you get K-Y-U-U. However, what you hear in the first syllable of the first word is ku. And despite the letter W being absent, you also hear a W sound in the beginning of the second syllable. Thus, in this word, Q can be replaced with K, and W can be placed between U and the rest of this word. And with the second word not being too far off, what you hear is K. And similarly to the word antique, this letter is, at the end of a word, always followed up unnecessarily by U and E. So with this word, you could swap out Q for K and remove the last two letters, although additionally I would swap out the I for two E's. You'll find out why later. And finally, the letter X. For this letter, we will refer to the words box and xylophone. When you write it how it sounds, you get EKS. However, typically when located in the middle or end of a word, you hear the sound taught to be associated to the combination of K and S. With that in mind, the X in box should be replaced with KS. Although X-ray being an outlier, typically at the start of any word, like xylophone, you hear a sound taught in association to the letter Z. So like C, when X borrows from Z, you can just swap them. However, unlike a previous word, there are three additional changes I would make to this word, but that's besides the point. Now here are some honorable mentions to send you off. The letter G, as in gold or gem. This letter, though not useless, suffers from a similar issue as the letter C. Borrowing from the letter J half the time. Given the problem is simple, the fix is as well. Referring back to the examples, anytime you hear the J sound, simply replace G with J and the letter S. For this letter, we will refer to the words snow and fees. This letter is like the letter G, except it borrows from Z. Referring back to the examples, anytime you hear the Z sound, simply replace S with Z. And that is why we only need 23 of the 26 letters in the English alphabet.